Okay, we are live. Hello, hello. I hope it is working and you can hear us. Yes, we are live. Perfect. How we all doing? Not sure if you are watching now, but you might watch it later. But anyway, in this live stream today, we will be talking about carbs because I've seen so many girls in my program are struggling with what is actually the carbs and they are struggling to hit the macros. So that's why I've got a special guest, Demi, who just finished her nutrition certificate and exams as well. So we can talk about what is actually carbs, carbohydrates, and how are we, what are the differences when it comes to simple and complex carbs, because this is something that we need to know in order to hit our macros if we want to lose weight. So thank you so much, Demi, for being here with me, for sharing all this knowledge that you just learned with me, and then I can't wait to dive in into this live stream with you. So do you want to maybe share a little bit about you?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. I think it's not about just the certification. I think we learn more from our own experience, and the more I think how long have I been in your program? It's almost a year now, but in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning I knew nothing about carbs, protein, fat, anything really, or how to recognize any of those. And slowly but steadily, week by week, month by month, it got better. And I'm more than happy to share how it got better for me. And of course, it's nothing that you are also doing a lot of live streams and you are giving us a lot of information, but it's also on us how to understand a bit more about that, to how what
Yeah.
to choose better options in the supermarket. And yeah, I'm more than happy to share how I got
Excellent.
into that journey and how it's now. At least I can understand a bit better how the
Yeah.
simple versus complex carbs work.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I feel like it's super important, especially in the beginning, to know all these differences because when I started my fitness journey, I had no clue as well. And that's why I couldn't see results for so long, basically, until I got my first fitness coach as well years ago. And that's how I learned about more carbs as well. So I can't wait to dive in into this topic. So basically, first off, we want to talk about what is actually carb. So if I'm gonna jump in, basically carbs are one of the main macronutrients. So we also have proteins and fats, but carbs are the one of the top energy source that we need. I know that you might heard maybe like, oh, I need to be on a low carb diet, in order to lose weight, but it's the actually the opposite. So if we want to lose weight, we just need to increase our metabolism, we just need to be stronger for our lifts in order to get toned, and that's why we will have our carbs in a diet, no matter what. Like, it's non-negotiable, especially before the workout. Carbs are super important.
Yeah.
Yeah, Demi, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, actually, a couple of months ago, I heard I was listening to a podcast, and we all have this idea of sugar being something bad, and it
Oh
is
yeah,
in
that's a good
general
one.
something bad. But it's carbs are the sugar of our body; it's the energy of our body. So carbs turn into sugar, and that turns into energy for us. So yes, of course, if you eat a lot of carbs in an extensive amount of carbs, it's not good, which is the same for any type of
Yeah.
macronutrient. But we need that. We all need that because otherwise, how would we get out and how would we get out of the bed in the morning? How would we have energy to do anything really every day?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, for example, like me, when I am not eating carbs before my workout, I get super dizzy. I get super tired. I don't have energy for the rest of the day. I feel like I am crushing after lunchtime and so on. That's why we just need to nail down how much carbs we are actually eating on a daily basis in order to have a lot of energy and just perform really well.
And your energy levels last quite long, I would say. If I don't have my carbs in the morning, I will probably be dead before 11 a.m.
Same, same. Today I ate like a huge bowl of carbs, which means a lot of oats, banana, mango, raspberries, and then on top of it, to keep me full for longer, I had chia seeds and protein powder, of course. But the main source was carbs before my workout. That's why I hit 110 on the hip thrusts. So this is something that you can do too. Okay, let's dive into those two different carbs. So obviously, you might heard that we have like simple carbs and complex carbs. If you haven't heard of it, don't worry about it. We will dive into it. But basically, we are craving the simple carbs the most because they are usually processed. They have a lot of fats in it as well. They are just the soul foods that kind of like the comfort foods that is going to make us happy for like 5 minutes and then we feel guilt afterwards. So these are the ones that we don't really want to eat, but of course you can eat them in moderation because it's about 20% of the soul foods in your diet and then 80% of the whole foods that are really good for your body to function well.
The
So
emotional food, right? So it's depending on your emotions as well.
mhm,
Usually, you'll go to simple carbs. You won't go to complex carbs.
that's right. Yeah. And usually when we don't have time, you want to go for simple carbs as well because it's super quick. It's usually bought in the supermarket. You don't really cook simple carbs as such. And we usually, like, if you are tired, for example, and you don't want to cook, then you usually go for simple carbs because they will provide you a quick energy
Yeah,
as well because it will, yeah, it will just provide you more energy. But then your energy will crash again after these simple carbs. And then what will happen is you will be looking for more carbs. So you feel like you are never satisfied. It's like you are constantly on top of with energy, then you are feeling super tired, then you want, food just to give you some energy, especially in the office when you are working behind the computer the whole day. And when you start with simple carbs such as like white bread, any cakes and so on, your glucose will spike like
yeah.
crazy.
I think I had this. I was stuck in that cycle a couple of months ago after I came back from Africa, where I was under eating, but because my body
Mhm.
was craving energy, sugar, I
Mhm.
was craving all these. I don't want to call it. Everyone calls it bad and good carbs. It's not bad and
I
good.
call
Good.
it soul food because it's like pleasure food for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
soul food.
Not five, probably a bit more, but it's the food that will give you the satisfaction in a short
Yeah.
term, and you'll have such a spike of energy
Mhm.
that you get what you're looking for. So I was stuck, I would say, in a cycle for a couple of
Mhm.
weeks that I couldn't stop that because my body was a bit imbalanced, and I
Mhm.
was craving the simple carbs and even the white bread. If we just use white bread, I'm not even going to like sweets and like what else now? Not just the
Which
white
is what we have
pasta,
here.
but yeah,
We've got it all.
I never crave alcohol, but yeah, but like the candies or the processed, like the ultra processed foods. And
Mhm.
my guilty pleasure, for example, is chips or
Mhm.
crisps for the British, I would say. So it's something I will always crave when I'm not feeling emotionally okay, and I want to boost my emotional state, or I want to get instant energy. But this
Mhm.
is just an ever-ending cycle. I'll eat the chips, I'll have the spike, and then after like half an hour, 1 hour, I'll be craving even more of that because
Yeah.
that's how it works with the simple carbs.
Yeah. And I feel like it's good that you realize that because now you can work on the pattern. Like, when is it happening? Why is it happening? And then how to overcome it. So, first of all, you can overcome it just by not buying it in the first place. And then, second, it's like if you know that this is happening, you can just get busy with something else, or you can prep your food for those, for those moments in your life when you will know that you will feel super stressed, for
Yeah.
example, because your, I don't know, some appointments are coming up and so on, then you can make something healthier at home instead of like relying on what is it gonna be, or I'm gonna be feeling stressed, I'll go for something. And then these simple carbs can really hinder your progress in a long way, basically, in a long run. So it's good to always kind of ask question, is this worth it? Like, am I gonna be guilty after eating all those foods? Is it going to help me on my fitness journey? Is all my hard work in the gym, is it gonna be worth it, when eating all this white pasta and so on? Don't get me wrong, I eat pasta some occasionally, in the restaurants. I eat white bread. They are really good carbs as well, especially if you want to hit your PRs in the gym. But it's all about moderation and about the balance. I mean, like the more processed food you will eat, the worse it will be for you, basically. Does it make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't also want to live a life that I would cut out some part of
No.
foods that I will never eat. And as I said, I like chips, so I don't want to live a life I will never eat chips again.
Yeah.
But it all comes back to moderation. Like we'll have chips, but I will try to eat something else before I eat chips, so I'm already a bit full, and then I can have less chips, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I feel it's all about tracking the macros as well. This is something that I wanted to touch base on. So if you are going to decide to eat white bread or maybe have cookies or chips and so on, I think it's super important to track it. Because if you're gonna track it, then you know how many calories you have left, or if it's gonna fit your macros. Because if it's gonna fit the macros, then why not to have one cookie or two? If it's gonna make you really satisfied by the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. But we need to be cautious of the amount and the cycle. That if we start that,
Yeah,
you have one cookie and then maybe the second. Oh, why not the
yeah,
third one since I already had two?
yeah, yeah. This is a good point. Actually, it's you just need to be honest with yourself, because obviously I'm here to support you. But if you will be tracking just one cookie, but then you will eat five cookies and then you won't track it, then you will be surprised why you are not losing the weight. Like, it is all up to you. All those choices are up to you. So definitely make sure that you are tracking all this as precise as you can, just because these simple carbs are super high in calories and high usually in fat and carbs. Yeah.
And I
Okay.
never felt, from my experience as well, as I said, I've been in your program for almost a year. I never felt judged or anything by you.
Mm,
You're here to help me. I've always felt like you're here to
exactly.
help me. And I don't think you ever commented on the bad choices or the less healthy choices I made. So yes, we live our lives. We continue. This is a journey for a whole life. It's not just for a couple of months and then, oh my God, we're going back to what we were doing before. It's to
Yeah,
educate ourselves and have a life
exactly.
eating what we want, but in moderation.
Exactly. Like, we are humans, like, I'm not here to judge, as you said. And I am eating cakes occasionally, as I said, like, I'm eating pasta when I'm in a restaurant and there is no other options. Sometimes I'm craving pasta as well, so why not? But I know that the next day I won't be eating the pasta or the cakes again and again and again, so it won't hinder my progress in a long term. So yeah, it's just all about moderation. And honestly, I wouldn't comment on those soul foods, if I know that you are still making progress, you are aware of what you are actually eating, and if you're gonna feel guilty, you won't do it again. Yeah, because after all, you want to lose weight.
Yeah. Yeah, and pasta, I would say pasta is not that bad as we probably made it sound now, but
Yeah.
it's actually very good for, as you said before, for getting the energy we want to hit
Mm.
PRs in the gym.
Yes, totally. And then it's yeah, pasta is good. So definitely I wouldn't cut pasta completely. I would just track it, as
Yeah.
I've said. Like maybe instead of like a huge bowl, just have maybe like 40 grams of the
Yeah.
pasta that is raw instead of like, I don't know, 150 raw pasta,
Mm-hmm.
grams. So yeah, just maybe use less of the portion,
Yeah.
and then you can still have it, you can still enjoy it. And then I would add maybe more like a volume foods, maybe like zucchini, courgette, mushrooms, something like that to increase the volume to the
More
meal.
fiber to feel
Yeah,
more full
which
as well.
yes, which is the complex carbs. And this is something that we need to have in our diet to function really well. So, as we said, like we need the fiber, we need more complex carbs in our diet just because we want to be healthy in the long term. We want to feel energized through the whole day. We want to feel full for longer. We just don't want to have those spikes of constant hunger, you know. Then we want to have really good mood. We want our metabolism to fire up, to go really well, so we can lose more weight. We definitely want to be healthy with good immune system.
Mhm.
Yeah, what else? We want to lift heavy and all that. That's why we need the complex carbs, actually.
Yeah, totally agree. And maybe to try to make complex carbs, to explain why complex carbs are better
Mhm.
for the body, it takes more time for our body to break down the complex carbs. So it
Yeah,
will not have this spike of glucose that are the simple carbs are giving us. So our body will take more time to break it down into what we need. And then we will be more full for a longer period of time. So we
yeah,
get better nutrients and will be more full for a long time. So
exactly.
that's why we pointed out before that don't cut out pasta. We can't live without pasta in our lives or any other. I'm not saying you can eat simple carbs only in your life, but these are also things that are good, but you need to balance it out. As you say,
Yeah,
80% of the complex carbs, these will keep us full. These will give us all the macronutrients we need. Help us as well to have better results in the gym or home workouts. And then we have the soul food, as you call it, or the pleasure
yeah,
food, I would say.
yeah. Yeah, and I feel like when it comes to pasta, we can definitely get a brown pasta. So this is my go-to, or I am usually going for like a lentil pasta, spinach pasta, because for example, lentil or chickpea pasta, they are higher in protein as well. So if you are struggling to hit your protein, then get this pasta. It's higher in fiber as well, and fiber in generally it will help you with digestion and to break down the vitamins better in your body. So, as a complex carbs, we've got the white rice. We had a question about that. So, yes, Michelle, white rice is complex carbs just because it's not processed. So, I want you to think that complex carbs are not processed and it's a side dish basically. So, it's a side dish that is not processed at all. So, for example, oats, brown rice, white rice, bulgur, potatoes, quinoa, couscous. I know rice cakes, lentil cakes, brown pasta. It is a little bit processed, but it's still from the whole foods basically. Then we've got beans, lentils, any vegetables, any fruit basically. I hope it makes sense so far. Um,
in,
yeah,
in,
okay.
in the beginning of my journey, I think I asked you what is better to eat, normal potatoes or sweet potatoes. And
Oh,
I've heard that
okay.
from a lot of people. What is better to eat, sweet potatoes or the
Mm,
normal ones? They're both good. It's just that the sweet potatoes have more fiber, even though they might give you a bit of a higher glucose spike because they're sweeter. Obviously, they have more
mm,
sugar. They're gonna make you feel full for a longer period, and they give you better nutrients than the normal ones. But they're both good complex carbs.
yeah. It's the same similar question to what is better, brown rice or white rice. I feel there is like a research that I don't know, like so many people say brown rice is better than white rice is better. Honestly, I feel like when it comes to those two, I would go just by your preferences. I prefer brown rice just because when I was competing, I ate white rice like 8 months straight every single day and I can't see it anymore. So I'm always going for brown rice because it's just my preference. Overall, the calories are the same. The macros are very similar as well. So in these two, you can just choose whatever you prefer, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard about like white or brown rice? Anything else? I feel like it's controversial a lot.
Yeah, I think it's. I think because of the pasta, we have the white and the brown pasta, and
Mm,
people have it as the white one is the bad one, and the brown one
yeah.
is the good one. I've heard people thinking the same thing about rice, that brown is the good one and white is the bad one. But it's a completely different thing as well. Like rice comes out
Mm,
of earth. The pasta you have to make it from other
yeah.
ingredients as well. So
It's a
it's a
good point.
completely different product.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
That's a good point. For example, when I could choose between rice and, for example, quinoa, then I would go for quinoa because quinoa is higher in fiber, so it helps me with the digestion, and it's also higher in protein. So again, if you cannot hit your protein, instead of white rice, you can get quinoa. Again, it's a very similar carb macronutrient, similar calories, but it's higher in protein.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I've
The
heard
same, for example, lentil cakes as well compared to rice cakes.
yeah, or any. There are a lot of different type of rice cakes now. There are the corn ones as well, and
Mm,
soy rice cakes. But yeah, the about the quinoa or rice. I would say I've heard as well, like, oh, I don't like the brown rice or brown pasta, or I cannot digest it that well,
mm,
which cannot be like sometimes it can happen, but yeah, you'll digest it for a longer period than the white
yeah.
pasta and white rice. But nowadays, I think we also have mixed ones, mixed rice and
Mm-hmm.
mixed pasta. Sometimes not
Mm-hmm.
pasta, sorry, quinoa.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also perfect for the eye to see different colors when you're eating. Sometimes if you don't
Yeah.
feel like eating only one or the other.
Yes, this is something that we want to talk about as well because it's super important to balance your plate, especially if we want to lose weight or get stronger or sustain this fitness journey for life, basically, because we eat with our eyes as well. It's not just the macronutrients or the calories. I don't want you to eat plain rice and chicken to lose weight. I want you to take a picture of your meals so they look like that. Like, I want at least like three colors on your plate because we need all the macronutrients, which means like all the vitamins, all the fiber, all the carbs, all the protein, all the fat. Basically, I want it all in one plate. And you can still eat pancakes, make a protein oat pancakes with banana and blueberries, for example. Yeah, then you can have like overnight oats with,
Oh yeah,
again, Greek yogurt or protein powder, whatever suits you, with chia seeds to add more fiber, to add some fat. Then you can have, for example, on the left here, down below we have like some steak, potatoes, and for veggies we've got some mushrooms to increase the volume of the food, and some salad. So again, because if you would eat just potatoes and steak, it will be super sad. So we want to increase the volume, we want to increase the colors of the plate as well. On the right hand side at the top, we've got chicken, quinoa, but we added some healthy fat, which is avocado, and then again some nutrients, a lot of veggies. In the middle, for vegetarian or vegan friends, we've got like feta, not feta, tofu. We've got some lentils, some beans, just because they are high in protein. So this is our protein. Then we've got some rice as a carbs, and again, a lot of veggies. Then on the left, I think the protein is just the chickpeas. So again, for vegetarian, so we've got quinoa and chickpeas. Chickpeas are really good carb source, higher in protein again, with some veggies on a side. And edamame beans are high in protein as
yeah,
well.
so good actually. And
Mhm.
it's have you ever seen any simple carb with a green color? No, they're usually very specific colors. They're yellow, orange, reddish, and
Mhm.
brown because of chocolate. So, and usually when
That's
you see a
true.
picture of a healthy meal, it will contain more colors. It will have the green, the orange, yellow, more colors, as you can see them here.
Yeah, that's so true, actually. And
Mhm.
always, like, if you think about it, when you are purchasing maybe cookies or whatever, and you read the nutrition label, it's the label is like this big. Like, I added this oil, this sugar, this much sugar, this of that, this color, blah, 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 blah. And then it goes all and all. And then if you think about like complex carb, it's just potato
Yeah,
and nothing
yeah.
else.
Totally, totally agree. That's why it's also better if you do crave a cookie, for example. It would be much better to either make it yourself with the
Mm.
ingredients you know, or get it from a bakery in your neighborhood, because the ones we usually find in the supermarket are super highly processed foods.
Oh, yeah.
So most of the time, I don't think we can recognize the chemicals they have inside. So it's much better to, and I think I've tried once a cookie with three ingredients. It was so good and it was so easy to make it with the
Mhm.
peanut butter and the oat flour and
Yeah.
the baking powder, pretty much. So it's so
Yeah.
easy to make it.
It is actually easy and it tastes so much good. And then you feel so good as well afterwards. You have better energy, better mood. You're not feeling guilty. You're not feeling like shit, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you are craving something like that, there is a bunch of fake away meals on the internet. So, for example, if you are craving some chocolate cookies, chocolate chip cookies,
Mm.
go on YouTube and just search like fitness chocolate cookie, for example.
Yeah.
Or in my app there is like 400 recipes as well that you can have a look, and these are super simple. So yeah,
And they're
definitely try to make it at home.
and they're perfect for meal prep as well. You can meal prep cookies and have them ready on your counter whenever you want them.
Yes, or around our period, especially when we are craving something sweet, cookies are the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, or some kind of like chocolate tiramisu or whatever, chocolate cheesecakes. So everything you can make at home. Perfect. So we've just covered quickly the simple carbs, complex carbs. So I'm hoping that it all makes sense and you know actually what to choose when you will be doing your shopping the next time. But just in summary, I just want to say that we eat with our eyes as well. So the more colorful your plate will be, the more likely you will be happy to eat it, and then you will feel satisfied and more full. Because if you think about it, if you eat just honestly plain rice and then dry chicken that is white, you will not be satisfied and you will be craving something else. Yeah. Or if you have like a Greek yogurt that is like super white, you'll be like, yeah, I'd rather that cookie, because it's more colorful. So definitely add a lot of like fruit, veggies into it, and so on.
And I mean, we might
And
have these moments, right? We're all busy and we're running around trying to
yeah.
handle everything. So we might have the moments that we'll have chicken and rice, plain or plain yogurt or
Oh
something.
yeah.
It's just that we can try to make it better most of the times for
Mm,
us. So we
yeah.
won't be, sick of chicken and rice, let's say.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just saying this because I want everyone to sustain this for long term. So if you will be eating just chicken and rice, as I was for 8 months in a competition, you will feel sick afterwards. Honestly, I don't eat chicken and rice anymore after, and it's been a year. So you can definitely get I don't know, like disgust basically by the food. That's why I want you to make it more nicer. And the more ingredients you will add to your meals that are kind of like low in calories, then it will be higher in volume. So again, you will feel full for longer, which means you will be eating more food and you will not be starving.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you'll be eating the meal for a longer period. It takes more time
Mm.
to eat the food like a poke ball than eating a cheeseburger, for example, or a cookie.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. This was fun. I hope it all makes sense. We had a Michelle joining us for live, and I know plenty of people will watch it on replay. So let us know if you have any questions. I want you to take a picture of your meals, send it to the Facebook group so me and Demi can have a look at it and we can provide you feedback if needed.
Of course.
But thank you so much for being here, for watching it, and I hope it was useful. And if you have any ideas for any another live stream that would help you on your fitness journey, let us know. And thank you, Demi, for joining me.
Thank you very
And
much
I
for
can't
having
wait
me.
for another live streams.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.